Hey everyone, how's it going? God Gamer here, bringing you the long-awaited Any Percent NMG guide for Silksong. So we're going to be starting from the very beginning, going through every single room in the run, and taking additional time on bosses and on skips to give you kind of the knowledge you need to figure them out. We're not going to be spending a ton of time on everything, because if I do, this is going to be 7 hours, 8 hours long. So before you even get into the game, download debug mod. That's going to be extremely important for practice. I'm going to have instructions in the description for doing that, because if I tell you it in the video, it's going to change probably. And get save states for any percent. Okay? The first step when learning any speedrun is just kind of remembering the route. Like, you're not going to expect to get a deathless run right away. Your first goal is to just remember where you need to go. And that's actually, it takes a while, because you also have to take into account how you path through every single room. Like, what path you take through the room. And you just kind of build the foundation and add strategies over time, okay? So you start with just, what rooms do I go to? And then you start thinking of, how do I get through those rooms? Okay, so in Moss Grotto, we start off with just simply going to the left, pretty straightforward, but we are going to be using a tech right off the bat called Pogo boosting. This is obviously, if you just jump in the air and Pogo, it's faster than walking speed. But if you Pogo boost too low to the ground, you get stunned for just a moment. Every time that happens, you lose time, so you want to avoid that whenever possible. You can avoid that by either jumping high enough that your Pogo ends before you touch the ground, or you can do it by going neutral before you touch the ground and then repressing the forward input as soon as you touch the ground. And then you chain that together very quickly, just like this, okay? It's tough to do. I think it's really tough to do on controller. I switch to a pad to do this, which is kind of like a keyboard. This is really not that different from a keyboard. It's just a bit more comfortable for me. Doing it on controller, I think, would be a nightmare for my thumbs, but you might be able to do it just fine. Do whatever works for you. And if you opt not to do it, that's also okay, because this is a small time save in the grand scheme of things. Anyway, with our newfound Pogo boosting knowledge, we're just going to head over to the left. You can Pogo through those vines just to kind of get a bit more movement with your needle slash. Don't be afraid to Pogo on the enemies either. You get a kind of bounce up from doing so. Once you get to this point, we're just going to go as far right on the platform as possible before jumping, and then at the apex of our jump, do a Pogo to get this ledge grab. And this is more or less the movement you want to be doing through this room. Again, if you're struggling with the neutral Pogo cancels, that's totally normal. It's hard to do. Now, there's a weakness cutscene here. This starts right here. So like right at that point of the stalactite is where the weakness cutscene starts. So we want to do a Pogo into the weakness cutscene to just propel ourselves a little bit further forward so we don't have to walk as far. Very small time save, not the most important thing, but worth memorizing that visual cue. After that, we just continue forward. And once we get to these platforms over here, we're going to want to Pogo on these guys. Ideally, you Pogo off of them and land on these platforms without getting the ledge grab, okay? Generally speaking, when you get a ledge grab, it's a time loss. So you want to avoid ledge grabs when possible, but it's not the most important thing in the world, okay? Don't reset your run because you missed a ledge, or you got a ledge grab when you didn't want to get one. Now, jump up high and do a pogo through those vines to immediately go into the transition. And there's another weakness cutscene here. You see where the ceiling kind of, the arches kind of meet. That is where the weakness cutscene starts. Okay, so start your pogo right here. And we're going to just walk to the left. Make sure you don't jump during the weakness cutscenes. That will lose you some time. I have accidentally jumped during these cutscenes many times because I'm just mindlessly pressing buttons. And then we pogo through these vines. And we are at our first boss. This one's pretty straightforward. You may want to set a save state, by the way. As soon as you enter the arena, hit this thing, and that will trigger the boss to start. I'm just going to stand slightly to the right of the boss. You can do the little micro optimization where you start on the left and then move to the right of the boss after to kind of make the boss fly further right. I'm not going to do that. And one of the keys to this boss is every time you jump to hit the boss, you want to do 2 needle slashes. The way you do that is by starting your first needle slash as you're rising up. So once you get to kind of like this point, you want to start your first needle slash, because the sooner you start that needle slash, the sooner it ends, and you can begin your second needle slash. And if you think about the melee attack in Silksong, it doesn't end immediately. It has a duration where there's an active hitbox in front of you. At the end of that duration, the hitbox goes away. So because of that, you can actually start your needle attack before you're in range of the boss, like just slightly before, and then move up into the boss to hit it. Now kind of just watch closely to kind of see that. See, I'm needle slashing kind of like before I even get to the boss. And that's how you do Moss Mother. I'm gonna do one more run through of the boss just to kind of explain the way I'm luring it a bit more. Okay, you start to the right of the boss to make it attack to the left, okay? Or you start to the right of the boss to make it attack to the right, because you want it to be up against this wall so that when it comes to the right, it will do a ceiling bonk attack and it will hit this ceiling right here. If you let the boss go to the left, it will hit the ceiling up here and it will be out of range. You do not want that. So lure it to attack to the right. It will do that ceiling bonk. Then you will stagger the boss, assuming you've hit it fast enough. Then you want to go underneath the boss and start doing up slashes from the right side to make it attack to the right again. Oops. Now it's going to attack to the left and you're just going to follow it and finish it off, okay? Thought I should also mention how we kind of manipulate the boss's AI to make it go where we want it to go. Now the boss can sometimes randomly do ceiling bonks when it usually doesn't, but it's quite rare, so I wouldn't worry about it too much. Once we get to this point, we should talk about mashing. So jump, melee attack, focus, or heal rather, spellcast, and dash. I think you can mash with all of those buttons. So you want to just kind of go between all of them. I actually mash with just 4 buttons. If you're using keyboard, you can do that. If you're using controller, you can mash with just 2 buttons if you so choose. It's kind of whatever's most comfortable for you. Just keep in mind, mashing is actually an important skill, but that's something I'll let you figure out on your own. Anyway, once you're done talking to the old lady, we are going to Pogo boost through Bone Bottom. Do not fall into that hole. I've done that many times. And we're just going to ignore all the NPCs and continue to the right. So we are heading over to Beastfly Pogo. We're just going to mantle up those ledges. And you can pogo on that enemy if it's in the way. Don't fall down there. I'm not going to be going over like every single movement. We're mainly going to be focusing on the spots where you can save or lose a lot of time, such as this, the Beastfly Pogo. So make a save state here, and once you get here, you want to jump down Pogo to the left so that you get close enough to this guy to cause him to attack. And you're going to want to be ready for the attack and just immediately rush to the right to get ahead of it. Oh, it's not attacking. So if it doesn't attack, you might have to move back in range. But same deal. We're going to be doing the same thing, like, doesn't really matter. Once we kind of jump up here, we're going to stand at this point, and this guy is going to kind of fly in this arc, okay? Sorry for my terrible drawing skills. Once it gets to kind of like the right height, we're going to jump up and move toward it. And that is going to, like, once we get into a close enough distance to the enemy, close enough proximity, that will cause it to attack. Then it will just fly in a straight line to the left. Then we can pogo off of it. Okay, so watch. That is all you have to do. Now, you may have noticed I aggroed the Beastfly pretty damn low. You might think that we need to get really high up, so you need to aggro the Beastfly high up, so it's easier to reach the ledge. That's not the case at all, okay? This right here is the apex of your jump. So once you jump up, that's the highest point in your jump. Now, whether the Beastfly is higher up, like imagine this is its hitbox, or it's here, lower down, that's its hitbox. If you pogo, you're going to hit either here or you're going to hit here. That makes no difference because you're going to move up the same distance after the pogo. So really, the Beastfly does not need to be high up. In fact, if the Beastfly is up here, you're going to have to pogo the side of the Beastfly as it flies toward you. That's going to make it much harder to pull off. It's much more lenient if the Beastfly is underneath you and you have all this time as it flies past to pogo the top of its hitbox. That is kind of Beastfly Pogo 101. Let me show you this once more. If you downloaded save states, there should be a save state for Beastfly Pogo specifically. Keep in mind you will have to probably dodge that guy. If you're learning Beastfly Pogo, just kill that guy to get him out of the way so you don't have to think about it. And once you get better at it, you can kind of dodge around him as you're doing this. Okay, just like that, you don't need to aggro the Beastfly very high up. Okay, now moving on, once you finish that, and keep in mind I'm doing that very easily, it will take time for you to figure it out. Okay, it took probably a couple weeks before I was consistent at it, okay? And hopefully my advice can help you master it a little bit faster. Anyway, we are going up into the left from Beastfly Pogo. Once you get to here, you can easily bypass those enemies on the ground, but there is an enemy just ahead of us. Now, as soon as we jump up here, this enemy is going to shoot a projectile, and we are going to have to slash it. Otherwise, it will hit us and knock us away. Okay, just like that. Don't let the enemy do anything else. Just continue left and pogo past the enemy. Just like that. Okay. If you slow down, the enemy will get in your way and be really annoying. Don't let that happen. Now, if you're getting a second needle upgrade later on, which is a nice beginner strat to kind of make the late game a little bit easier, you can get this relic, which you will sell in Bellheart later on. Keep in mind that is a time loss, but it's absolutely a nice strat as you're kind of figuring out the run. Anyway, we're going over here, and there is another enemy pogo. What we do is we issue a challenge to this enemy, which is right analog stick on the controller or V on the keyboard by default. So stand on the right side of this platform, issue a challenge, then If you want to do it a bit faster, you can drop down and get that ledge grab. You don't have to do that. But basically, as soon as this enemy starts moving, which is like a third of a second after it attacks, you jump up to this platform, and that should cause it to kind of fly in an arc where you can pogo off of it right there. Sorry for my terrible drawings. Pausing kind of messed me up. You're going to hear that from me a lot probably, but the pogo is just like that. So basically, as soon as it starts moving, jump up right after it starts moving. If you miss the pogo, just go to the right and up. It's like a 10-second detour, not a big deal. And we are getting Silkspear. This is honestly such a fun ability to use. And part of the reason why I enjoy this category so much is that kind of like the minimalist aspect of having less causes you to innovate more, because we have to use techniques to make Silkspear more effective. And I'm going to go over some of those techniques right now, okay? Animation canceling. It allows you to get Silkspears out faster. So you might notice if you do a nail slash, a needle slash, I'm gonna call it nail slash a lot. If you do a needle slash, you can't Silkspear immediately like you can cast Vengeful Spirit after a nail slash in Hollow Knight instantly. You have to wait. See, so there's like a delay in between the needle slash and the Silkspear. But there are ways around that. So first way, turn around Silkspear. So watch. You do the needle slash, then immediately turn around and Silkspear. So it's slash, turn around, Silkspear. Just do that quickly, and it lets you get the Silkspear out a little bit faster. The other way is land canceling. So you're slashing an enemy, then you hit the ground and you immediately Silkspear, okay? This is actually even faster than turnaround Silkspears, okay? But you can't do it in every circumstance. Let's say you want to nail slash an enemy and then that's flying, and then Silkspear it immediately after. You can't do that. So you want to do a turnaround Silkspear in that situation. The other thing is dash attack Silkspearing, which we'll talk about later, because we don't have dash right now. And the final thing I want to talk about is let's kind of continue through this room. Let's move over here to kind of show it off, okay? Now, if we Silkspear, we're stunned for quite a while, right? However, if the Silkspear hits a wall, it returns to our hands much faster, okay? It's not technically an animation cancel, but it is a time save whenever you can do this, just because it lets you act so much faster and continue dealing damage. There's tons of bosses which will be against a wall, and whenever the boss is against a wall, that is a great opportunity to Silkspear and deal extra damage faster. Those are just some important Silkspear concepts that will come up throughout the run. Now, in this room, once you get to this point, you're going to Silkspear these webs. Let me show you that without infinite silk. Okay, look at my silk. I got 5 silk. I have 6 silk. I have 5 silk. It's random. You have a random amount of silk after destroying this. It just sometimes refunds you some silk, sometimes it refunds you less. It's random. So anyway, based on how much silk you have, because you want to get to the next boss, Bell Beast, with full silk. Usually I just hit this guy twice, just turn around, do 2 nail slashes, then continue. Sometimes you'll have like a lot of silk after doing that Silkspear, and you don't need to hit that guy twice. You can also hit this guy 2 times, just like that. Not exactly like that. Let me show you properly. Pogo, turn around side slash, just like that. Or you can just up slash as you pass by. depending on how many hits of silk you need. Anyway, we're just going to the right to the Bell Beast. Now, first step with Bell Beast, make a save state here. This bell in the background, you Silkspear right before this. And that lets you, that's kind of like the visual cue to Silkspear at max range. Starting the fight earlier, that's a time save, okay? Now, first step with Bell Beast is surviving. Okay, so we're going to go over the boss fight just with the intent of dealing damage and surviving, not with the intent of doing it as fast as possible, okay? And I'm going to explain each enemy attack so that you know how to deal with it. Now, the first attack Bell Beast always does is he starts out and does a charge attack from the right side, as long as you're standing over here. Now, the way the charge attack works is his hitbox kind of pops up to the right, and then he turns around, or she, sorry, turns around, and the hitbox kind of extends further out. So if you want to deal maximum damage to this, you actually want to stand around here and do a needle slash, and then back up to avoid the boss as it turns around and his hitbox moves out here. That's going to be how you deal with every charge attack. Just be careful not to get hit, because this deals double damage. And that's kind of, you can hit the boss around 5 times on that. And ideally you want to Silkspear the boss as soon as it appears, regardless of what attack it does, okay? So you heard that sound effect of the boss. That means it's doing a jump attack. Okay, so we Silkspear right as it comes out, and that's going to hit the boss, I'm pretty sure. Then we want to do 3 up slashes and a side slash and another Silkspear. Okay, and you can see I'm doing the landing animation cancel. So I do the side slash and then I land and then I Silkspear. That's kind of like the sort of optimal punish. Technically you can get 5 hits. That's a lot harder though. That is what you'll want to eventually learn to do if you are planning to do the phase skip, which we'll get to later. This attack is bells, my favorite. Okay, typically when you get the bell attack, you can only get like 2 hits. So this is the attack you don't want to have happen. Anyway, you see the particle effects, but you didn't hear the roar. That means she's doing the charge attack, okay? You can do 5 hits like that. You can also Silkspear as she comes out. This means she's changing phases, okay? So as soon as she gets to 75 HP or lower, her next attack is going to be the phase change. That is what you just saw. The idea of the phase skip is that you get the boss down to 80 HP, then wait until she does a charge or jump attack. And then when she does, you deal an optimal damage cycle, which will allow you to finish the boss off when she does the phase change attack. Kind of getting ahead of myself here, but that's something you'll want to learn eventually anyway. Okay, very easy to die to this boss. In this phase, be very careful of the bell that drops after the bell attack, because every time she does the bell attack, a bell will drop directly down afterwards. That's something that can easily get you. See, it's so easy to die to this boss. Next up, I've kind of shown the basics of the boss. There's only 3 different attacks and the phase change, so it's not super complicated. Okay, I'm gonna show you how to do the phase skip. So Silkspear from max range, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. That is the optimal damage cycle on the first charge attack. So after the scream, you count 8 nail slashes. After the 8th nail slash, you turn around and Silkspear immediately. That allows you to get the Silkspear out as soon as possible. Then you follow up with 4 nail slashes and do a land cancel Silkspear. It sounds hard to do, and it's actually pretty hard to do. So So it says hard to do as it sounds. This isn't something you need to memorize on your first run. It's just something you may want to implement eventually. Now, the boss is doing a jump attack. Our goal here is to follow up with get 20 more damage on the boss. So 4 more nail slashes to get the boss down to 80 HP. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now the boss is down to 80 HP. You can see right here, we'll turn on HP bars. It is at 80. That is 1 hit away from triggering the phase change. Now we are waiting for a charge or a jump attack. She did a bell attack, so we ignore her. Now she is doing a jump attack. This is the easier attack to deal with, in my opinion. So we just throw a Silk Spear out, follow up with 3 up slashes, a side slash, and a land cancel Silk Spear. Just like that, okay? Now she's going to do the phase change because she is under 80 HP. We're going to do 3 nail slashes, followed by a land cancel Silk Spear. Okay, that is how you do the Bell Beast phase skip. Just for the sake of getting through this tutorial, I'm going to leave you with that, but I will link to more in-depth guides on how to do this in the description, okay? But that's the basic idea. That should give you an understanding of how the phase skip works. Once we're done with that, we will go into the Silk Heart cutscene. I guess I should explain, like, if the Bell Beast does the charge attack instead of the jump attack at the end, the way that I would recommend dealing with that is Silk Spearing as soon as she comes out of the ground. Then you want to do a side slash, an up slash while damage tanking, and slash her 1 more time and then do a land cancel Silk Spear. So you only get 3 nail slashes. You can technically get 4, just like you do in the opener, but opting to get 3 is a bit more consistent rather than risking missing the final Silk Spear. Then you just do the exact same thing on the phase change, but get 4 nail slashes in. So you just have to make sure you nail slash as soon as possible on the first nail slash, and you can get 4 in if you do a land cancel Silk Spear. Now that that's explained, again, check out other videos if you want more in-depth explanations on that. As soon as this room loads, you can save and quit out. So as soon as you see the room start to appear, save and quit out. Obviously, I was kind of distracted, but this is a spot where you can save and quit and save a bit of time. So right after the Silk Heart cutscene ends, save and quit out. That's just because Hornet takes so long to get up after the Silk Heart cutscene that it's faster to save and quit out and get the faster wake up time. Very funny that that's actually a time save. Anyway, we hit this lever, leave the room, re-enter the room. If you need to bench, you shouldn't. But you can bench if you want to, if you need like a safety bench. Anyway, we're just continuing to the right. I like to do just like full jump pogos here, rather than worrying about doing the neutral cancels. It's just a little bit easier in those kind of corridors. Now be careful you don't land on this guy. I like to do a pogo into the ground so that if the guy is underneath me, I pogo into him rather than land on him. You can pogo onto those spikes as well. And you want to do this drop, just pogo forward, kind of like inch forward twice. And then once you get to this ledge right here, you are going to pogo twice to the right. And then pogo into the transition, jump over here, pogo to the right. You can also take the path above and damage tank that enemy. I wouldn't recommend that to start with. It's only a half-second time save, I believe. Anyway, we're just going through this long corridor. This is kind of where you show off your pogo boosting skills, or struggle like I do. And there is another enemy Pogo here, so you can set a save state right here. I will show you the easy strat, then I will show you the fast strat. Easy strat, side slash him, jump onto this ledge right here, then continue jumping over to the right, and just make your way up these platforms. Stand here, jump. Then you can just Pogo off of it and continue to the next room. Now the slightly more hard version of the skip is like this, okay? You want to mantle, jump over to this platform without getting the ledge grab. Then, I kind of messed it up, but let me show you this one more time. Jump over here, jump, jump, jump. And once you get here, around this railing thing in the background, you want to jump and Pogo. And that should kind of lure the enemy to take this kind of path and go up to a spot where you can Pogo him. Okay, that's kind of the idea behind that movement. Now, we're just kind of heading to the right in this room. You can take the bottom path or the upper path. Not exactly sure which is faster yet, so I just kind of go with the upper path on that side because it's more comfortable. And the lava is not going to hurt you as long as you keep the Pogo boosting. Now this guy's hitbox is kind of like this. It's like a big box. You want to Pogo off the top of it. If you hit the side of the box, you're not going to get enough height to reach this ledge, okay? That Pogo is not super important though, because obviously you can just go this way and jump up here. Now when you go into this room, face to the right, it's just the tiniest time save, and we're just doing some mantles to get up to the ant arena. This is the first arena, right? First arena of the game. Save state here. Okay, let me show you this arena. You're going to want to Pogo in. Ignore this guy on the right. He's actually invincible and he just leaves the arena. You want to get close enough, stand right here and do a Silkspear into this guy. If you're close enough to him, it's less likely that he will burrow. If you're far enough away, he will burrow almost every time. So get close, do one Silkspear, do two Silkspears. Okay, just like that. Then we're going into wave 2, which is ants. Just do melee slashes on them. Then stand in the middle of the arena for wave 3, which is the flying guys. Hit this one once, Pogo, then up slash that guy, and Silkspear both of them. Now stand in the middle again for wave 4. You are going to get this guy, slash, 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 turn around Silkspear, jump, turn around Silkspear. Just make sure to hit with that Silkspear. That is how you do that arena. It's pretty straightforward. Now we're going to continue. Once you get to this point, Pogo, Pogo, tap right, then Pogo left again. That's how I do that drop. Otherwise, if you don't do that little tap right, you will often land on that platform and lose time. And we are at Swift Step. Best ability, other than Clawline. Now, I'm weird. I use my pad controller for early game movement, and then I switch to Xbox controller once I get dash. I'm not sure I would recommend that. I just find it's easier to do the Pogo neutral cancels on a keyboard-like device, and then the dash movement I find easier on controller. Let's talk about dash tech in Silksong. Okay, I'm going to kill this guy over here real quick and show you the dash tech. Okay, this is dashing. This is sprinting, rather. This is a dash. Sprinting, pretty fast. Doesn't ruin your hands. Slightly faster is this. Jump, dash, jump, dash, jump, dash. This is pretty fast. Definitely faster than just sprinting. And it's something you can mix in different spots. The third technique I will show you is the jump dash spam. Okay, you might have seen a lot of players do this when we were just starting to speedrun Silksong. It's really effective, it's really fast, and it's very easy to do. Just requires a bit of stamina in your fingers. The best movement that I would recommend is dive dashing? Is that what it's called? I think it's called dive dashing. So you do a jump, pogo, dash, all in rapid succession, okay? And you want to do it with this kind of a rhythm. So it's pretty fast, and this is fairly skill-based. So like, there's a big difference between perfect dive dashing and what I'm doing. But that's the basic idea. I would recommend learning whatever's comfortable with for you at the start, and with the goal of eventually switching to dive dashing, okay? Because this is the fastest movement tech. There are still some instances where you just want to get a little bit of distance and you can do a jump dash instead of the pogo dash because this takes a bit more distance. That is the dash movement tech. Choose to do what's most comfortable for you. If something is hurting your fingers or causing a lot of strain, the speedrun really isn't worth hurting your hands, okay? I've dealt with a lot of hand pain in the past, which is why I'm stressing this. It's something I have a lot of experience with. Don't hurt your hands, guys. If you get hand pain, stop playing, take a break. Now we will continue to the left. When you hit these boxes, sometimes fiery rock can come out of them, which will explode after just a second. So be careful of that. That can deal damage to you quite easily. Once you get on these platforms, just dash off as soon as possible onto this one. Then we are going to do a dash, pogo, dash. Dash, pogo, dash into the transition. Then we jump over here, pogo, dash as soon as you clear this, and you will make it to this platform without falling into the lava. Then we do a sprint jump, full sprint jump, dash onto this platform. That makes you land on this platform without doing the ledge get up, which wastes time. And then we hit this lever, come down here, and we are fighting Lace. Okay, I'm going to start with basic survival strats, then we're going to get into the faster stuff. Okay, so basic survival strats for Lace 1. Jump over every attack. Watch out for that one. You can mix in some dashes as well. Heal up when you stagger her. And yeah, this is just how you play Lace for survival. Every single attack she does, you can just jump straight over and hit her after she passes you. When she does attacks like that, get some Silk Spears in, and it's pretty straightforward, okay? This fight gets a lot more difficult to survive when you start mixing in dashes, but if you just play to survive, jump over the boss, she's very easy. It's very easy to survive this fight. Let's get into some of the more advanced tech, if I can save state to the right spot. I'm going to show you the dash attack Silk Spear combo. I like to start the fight with this. That is not how you do it. So you want to mash Silk Spear right after you do the dash attack. If you mash slowly, that is what happens. You Silk Spear above the enemy and just whiff. So that is what I like to do. Now, it's pretty nice to open the fight with that because often you will get the recoil on the off the wall and the Silk Spear comes back to you faster. And then Lace 1 staggers after 11 hits. Okay, so on the 11th hit, she will stagger. When you knock her into lava, it deals 40 damage. Keep in mind, needle slashes deal 5 damage. Silk Spear deals 3 times needle damage, so 15. So 40 damage from staggering her into the lava is a lot. So let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I already did 2 attacks, so that was the 11th attack. So that staggers her into the lava. I wouldn't necessarily wait to stagger her into the lava, but count your first attacks, and if you get the opportunity, definitely push to get a stagger into the lava. Now, as she jumps out, you can Silkspear her. That's part of the reason why it's so good. Now, after she does that attack, you can dash into her and do a dash Silkspear. Otherwise, kind of like part of your bread and butter is you still do the jump over top of Lace's attacks, but you do a hit and then land with a Silkspear animation cancel. Okay? So you see I'm jumping before I do the needle slash, and then as soon as I land, I do the Silkspear. Practicing that will save you a lot of time in different boss fights. It's not just for Lace 1. You will do that against most bosses. Okay, so practice those land into Silkspears. I'm gonna do this one more time. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You can see I pushed forward through the boss's attack because it's worth it to damage tank to get the stagger into the lava. Sometimes when you do Silkspears, you will get hit, but this boss dies so fast that, like, once you practice this boss, she dies so fast that you don't have to worry about dying as much. When you're just starting, you'll die to this boss, okay? There's nothing to be ashamed of. I've died to Lace 1 many times. In fact, I've killed Lace and fallen into the lava and died. So it happens. Anyway, once you finish Lace, we are going over here, hitting the lever, leaving, re-entering, and you will probably want to heal on that bench. If you're at 3 or more HP, you can opt not to heal, because you're hitting a bench before Drifter's Cloak anyway. But we're just progressing through these rooms. Do your dive dashes, try not to fall in lava or fall into the enemies. And once we get into this room, this is a room where you can just hold right, and once you pass this air current, you just dash. That's all you have to do in this room, is just hold right and then dash once you get that air current. Once you get here, you do the same thing, just dash right before you hit the ground so you avoid the hard fall, and then hold dash until you hit that ledge on the lava, the platform on the lava. Then you do a sprint jump dash, sprint jump dash, jump dash, jump dash, jump dash. Now we want to jump onto this platform, do a sprint jump off, dash 2 pogos, and you should hit that flying enemy most of the time. It has a slightly random spawn, so you don't always hit the enemy, but most of the time you'll hit the enemy. Now we go into here and we start the Drifter's Cloak quest. After this, you'll want to sit on the bench because we are save and quitting back here after. Don't forget to sit on the bench. And we're just going straight over here. You will probably need to practice this a lot. This is a surprisingly tricky part of the run. Just be careful not to jump into the guy. You want to dash off of this platform, land on this one, dash again to land on there, and sprint jump off of this little raised platform on the ground so you get this ledge grab. Now we're at the first Hoker. Okay, attack it, and get the spines that land on the ground. Now, any spines that are flying off into the distance where you can't get to, you want to prioritize hitting those spines in the air. Now, as soon as it does the second attack, you can hit it a third time and it will just spawn the spikes immediately. Let me kind of give you an example of that. Doing this actually properly, I'm gonna heal up, set another save state, then we're going to jump up. Okay, now I prioritize the one that's shooting left because that's going to shoot way out of range. We want to get that before it goes away. I'm going to hit that one because I'm not going up to the ceiling after, and I can just get the ones that shoot into the ground very easily. Now it's done the second shot. I'm going to immediately hit it a third time. The spines will spawn. I can get that one that's going up and to the left. I can get all the ones that went down and to the right. Then we're going to this guy, immediately hit him, then kill that piece of shit because he's very annoying. Do the second hit and the immediate third hit. Now, often you will be silkspearing those on the ceiling. You might also want to hit those spines that hit the platform above you. It just depends on where the hoker spawns, okay? Then we are going into this room. You can opt to silkspear that explosive thing instead of killing that annoying guy on the left. I recommend killing the annoying guy. It's not worth it to try and dance around him. It's very annoying. Okay, now I'm going to hit these spines up above. And once you get the yellow text, you can save and quit out. Now you might need to go and continue and finish a fourth hoker. Ideally, you get through the hokers with just 3 of them, then you can finish the quest. But sometimes you will need to do a fourth. In fact, when you're learning, you'll often have to come back here and get this guy as well. Okay? Don't feel bad about it. I often have to do 4 hokers, but ideally you want to aim to get enough spines from the first 3 that you can just save and quit out. That is the spines quest. Once you save and quit out, you can just immediately finish the quest and get Drifter's Cloak. Okay, we're gonna get a few text boxes here. Then we dash to the left, get more text boxes. Then we just mash through them. You can just sprint off the left, then do a dash jump. And we are going toward the 4th chorus skip. Set a save state. The way you should start learning this, do a sprint jump over here, Drifter's Cloak up to the secret, up slash dash, up slash, fall down, Pogo dash, sorry, let me try this again. Pogo dash, so you land on this platform. Then we go and do the skip. There's a heal-less version and a heal version. The heal version is way easier. That's why we get the silk. Now we do the heal version as a backup if the heal-less version fails. We always try heal-less first because you don't have time to do the heal version before the boss screams and stuns you. If you try to do the heal version immediately, you'll be on the far left above the lava. You'll heal and the boss will stun you out of the heal and you just fall in the lava. So try the heal-less version first. If you mess it up, the boss screams, you do the heal version after. Okay, let me show you the heal version first, because this is the easier version that you should really focus on getting first. Okay. Now, as a kind of visual cue, you see how these platforms are kind of separate? There's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 platforms. Stand kind of roughly in between platform 1 and platform 2. You can be like a little bit to the left of the kind of in-between spot between the platforms. Then you sprint jump off. Okay, then at the apex of your jump, which you can't see because you're off screen, but roughly when you feel you're at the apex of your jump, you want to do a heal, then hold A or jump after your heal to buffer a Drifter's Cloak. Then dash Drifter's Cloak again. That is how you do it, okay? And see, it's quite lenient. It's not an insanely difficult skip to do, but you need to know the timing of when to start that heal. You'll be off screen, so like you can't see. You just have to kind of feel it out, okay? But that's how you do 4th chorus skip with a heal, okay? Now, the reason why we dash after we Drifter's Cloak instead of before is you want to reset your Drifter's Cloak. Now, look at when we Drifter's Cloak up here. after just a second, you start accelerating downwards faster, right? So if we Drifter's Cloak, and then we dash in Drifter's Cloak, we delay that acceleration. That's why we do 2 Drifter's Cloak instead of just dashing and doing 1. Because we would accelerate down too fast, we would not make it to the ledge. That's something that's going to come up later in the run as well. Now we're going to talk heal lists. Okay, this is something you'll want to try every time. And once you start getting it in runs, once you get a feel for it, it might take a while, but once you start getting it in runs, you may want to switch to not get the silk before 4th chorus and just aim to do heal lists. It's kind of like this. Okay. It's a lot easier, I find, if you do dive dash into it, because it seems to let you get more coyote frames. Just watch where I do this jump. Okay, see, I'm doing the dive dash. I start the dive dash around here, then I continue forward, and Hornet does the jump all the way out here. So Hornet's almost off screen before she jumps. Okay, and that's how you want to do it. When you see Hornet jumping all the way out here, that's how you know you've timed it correctly. That's the timing that you want. Then the timing of when you Drifter's Cloak is fairly precise, and that's just something you're going to need to feel out to figure out the timing for. This isn't perfectly precise, like this doesn't require frame perfect precision. It's just the fact that you need to get a feel for it. That means it will take a while to learn. But that's both versions of 4th chorus skip. And if you mess up the heal version, you can just hit the boss enough times to get enough silk and try again, okay? No shame in taking multiple tries to do the skip. It's hard to do the first time, but you will learn how to do it eventually. And now we're doing the ascent. So this you can hit from underneath if you upslash. And we're going to sprint jump, upslash, dash down, pogo on that. And Drifter's Cloak before that explodes. Sorry, I fell down. Dash jump, side slash, mantle, dash to the right into the current. Dash, dash. Say hi to Sherma. And we're just going to go over here and return to this room. Hit this lever, go up the current, jump to the other current, upslash this. Just kind of bounce under here. Be careful, the input handling can be a little bit weird when that explosion happens, so just keep a bit of distance to avoid taking that damage. And this is one spot where you can do a little bit of a skip. Let me show you. I messed it up. Let me show you the skip. The idea is to just pogo these guys instead of having to hit the debris. You can do this in 3 pogos if you're doing it perfectly, but the intended strat is obviously to just hit that debris, hit the lever, and go up the currents. Either way, doesn't really matter too much, but it is faster to just get the pogos on those enemies. Be careful against these guys, by the way. They deal double damage, they're quite annoying, and you can side slash this rock from the side. Did I mention how annoying these guys are? Side slash this rock from the side like that, and just be careful. The explosion, it's very easy to get caught in that explosion. You want to kind of float diagonally above it to the side. Now you're always going to pop up to the left here, go to the right, and we're going to get the bell. We're going to do the cross skip. There's a bench here. If you need to heal, hit that bench and jump up here, save state. This is the hardest skip in the run, probably the skip that you'll practice the most. Okay, this is cross skip. People have different strategies for this. You might not like my strategy. That's okay. Try someone else's strategy. Just make sure it's a consistent strat. Some strats, if the crow spawns in a weird spot, it won't work. Don't use those strats, okay? Even if those strats are easier, trust yourself to learn the consistent version, even if it's harder to do. Let me show you this all at once. Okay, that is cross skip. The crow has slightly different spawn points. Both crows do. There's also a slight variation on how they move. And on top of that, they can either do an immediate attack or a delayed attack. So let's look at this a bit closer. So I do a Drifter's Cloak right here. And what that does is after the enemy spawns, it will fly away from me, okay? If you don't do the Drifter's Cloak, odds are the crow is going to fly away from you in this direction on the first bounce. And I want to avoid that. I just cause it to bounce to the right. And I immediately get as far right as possible without activating this crow, okay? And for the visual cue, there's this slight opening in the grass. I just kind of stand in the middle. Now, this crow is doing a delayed attack because if it doesn't attack after the first 2 bounces, it's going to bounce 4 times and then attack. Sometimes the attack is delayed even more than that, but that's more rare. It's kind of like a weird AI quirk. Don't think about that too much. If the crow does a delayed attack, it's going to slowly lower in height down to where you are. And it can actually get so low that when it does the kind of like swooping attack, it ends up like right here, and that's too low to pogo off of and reach the other crow. Okay, so if it's doing the delayed attack, we do some jumps in order to lure it to a better height. Okay, and you just kind of have to watch where the crow is and jump to lure it higher, or if it's already pretty high, then you don't need to jump as high. Okay, so just react to where it is. Now, the second part of cross skip is what you do after the crow attacks, okay? So as soon as the crow starts the attack, you dash to the right, and you want to move to this wooden pillar in the background. So once you move here, actually it's around here, sorry, to the left, the crow will spawn right around here. Now, once you stand here, this crow, the second crow, is going to move to the left and give you enough room to pogo off of it. Okay, let me show you that without pausing. Okay, you can see the second crow bounced to the left. That's because I moved to the right, and flying enemies, when they are close to you, will move away. That is a very important concept. When they're far away from you, they move toward you. When they're close, they move away. So by being to the right of it, when it spawns, it bounces to the left. However, if you pogo the first one immediately without moving to the right far enough, the second crow won't have enough time to move away from you, and it's going to be like right here. You're not going to be able to pogo off of it because there's like no room to the right, okay? So the timing at which you dash is really important. It's basically, as soon as you see that first crow recoil, you want to dash over and activate the second crow. I actually moved right too early, so it spawned immediately. Okay, just like that. Cross skip is hard, but that is kind of the fundamental information you need to know in order to do it. Now, some people have different setups. Mine is more of a kind of like visually you kind of react to what's happening. Other people have more like, okay, if the crow's here, then you jump and do a slash and move over to the right immediately. I don't like those setups as much because I feel like they're kind of overcomplicating things. If that works for you, do it. If this works for you, great. Now, what happens if you mess up? And you will mess up. So you can kind of either try to back it up just by falling on the ground and jumping and luring the crows up. This crow is taking a break. Just kind of like this sort of thing. It's hard to do that, so kind of depending on your comfort level and how many times you hit the crows in your first attempt before you messed up. If you've hit them a bunch, they're not going to have much health for you to back it up. Then you may want to reset the room so their health resets. Even if you've killed one, resetting the room will respawn the crows. And then you want to jump over here. I like doing this backup. This is a pretty simple strat. You just jump all the way to this platform, wait for this guy to attack. Drifter's Cloak, then you pogo off the second guy twice. Sometimes the first guy doesn't attack and the second guy attacks first. That backup strat is not 100% consistent. So like sometimes you just have to improvise. Maybe you can find something that works for you more consistently. Anyway, that's all the time I'm going to spend on cross skip. You will need to practice this quite a bit. Anyway, once you get to this point, you can either do underplat or you can just mantle up and do overplat. Underplat saves a bit of time, but you can also bonk here, which is kind of annoying. The setup I like to do for underplat is I mantle up here, then I just tap forward and sprint jump. And I find that's pretty consistent for me. Okay, now we're just going into the bell room, jump dash, hit the lever, exit. Then you can sit on this bench if you need a heal, or if you just want to set the safety bench. And by the way, guys, cross skip is hard. If it takes you a few tries, don't feel bad about it. In a run, if it takes you 5 tries, 10 tries, it's okay to lose time to cross skip. It's time save for next run. In this room, this is what I do. Okay, jump dash over the first guy, then sprint jump onto this platform, jump dash over this guy, and land here. Then you're just going to jump dash over to this platform, land there, sprint jump off, so you avoid the water. Then you sprint jump over these guys and pogo off the last guy. Okay, that's how you do that room. Then you just sprint jump onto this platform, jump onto this platform, and continue. That's just avoiding getting the ledge grabs. And we are at the arena. This is the easiest arena in the game. So you just stand on the left, slash, dash, Silkspear, pogo, dash attack, then pogo. Then we stand to the left of this guy. And Silkspear as he spawns, dash attack, Silkspear, then attack. Ideally, you don't get hit. If you are already at less than max HP, you will want to opt not to do the second Silkspear on that guy and just hit him, I think it's 6 or 7 times, and you'll be able to heal up at the end of this arena, okay? Because you want to have 5 HP leaving that arena. If you don't have 5 HP, that's also okay though. You can get a slightly fast cycle in this room if you get this pogo into that ledge grab. Not the most important thing in the world, but small time save. Now we're just kind of navigating through here. I like to do a little fall here where I fall to the right of this platform, pogo 4 times. Let me do that without pausing. Pogo 4 times and then dash into this transition. So you just fall straight into it. Now, once we get here, as soon as we clear this ledge right here, we're going to pogo left, dash. So we hit this platform instead of falling in the water. Then we can jump dash onto there. And we head to Moorwing. Ideally, you come into this fight with max HP. I am not coming into it with max HP. I'm going to show you survival basic strats first, and then we're going to get into the more advanced stuff. So basic strat, jump, hit Moorwing twice. If Moorwing attacks, dash away. Sometimes you may need to dash over attacks. When he does that, you can pogo him and dash and hit him again. Once you get comfortable doing that and dodging the attacks, you can start mixing in turnaround silk spears and try not to miss them like that. But silk spearing in this fight is actually pretty important. Silk spearing in general is just really nice DPS, so mix the silk spears in as long as you don't need to heal. If you need to heal, just do the heal, okay? Don't try to clutch it out. That will lead to many deaths. But that's basic Moorwing tactics. Now, once you get to the next level, you want to start doing this. 2 needle slashes, then you dash and needle slash again. This is something I haven't talked about yet. Dashing resets your needle. So you can dash, needle, dash, needle, quicker than you can needle. Okay, so we're just making use of that. Watch that. Okay. Sometimes you'll jump and do 2 needle slashes and then dash and do a third. Sometimes you'll just do 2 needle slashes like that without dying. But that's one way you can speed up Moorwing considerably. The final optimization I want to introduce to you is wall, left side Moorwing, whatever you want to call it. And the idea is you go to the left side of Moorwing and wait until it does that attack. And now Moorwing is up against a wall. I did not mean to heal, but what you can do is just turn around Silkspear and destroy the boss. Okay, this is my favorite thing. Now sometimes Moorwing will fly away from the wall, and that's totally fine, it will do that. But you get a good amount of DPS before Moorwing can kind of do anything. You just combo Moorwing down. Left side Moorwing is something I'd recommend trying to do, just because you get those silk spears up against the wall and combo the boss to death. Anyway, that's Moorwing. Avoid getting hit. Avoid taking all that damage, and we are continuing into Bellheart. If you took damage from Moorwing, you can hit this bench. If you didn't take damage from Moorwing, congrats, you're better than me. And now we're just continuing into Shellwood to get Cling Grip. You want to generally pogo off of that guy, then kind of continue to the left. If you have the opportunity to pogo another spider, you want to avoid landing in the water. It's a slight time loss. And we're dash jumping off of that and not missing that platform. You want to get this ledge grab. Okay, it is a little bit tricky, obviously, as you saw, but you're just moving to the right and up and to the right, and then we're getting that pogo off of that guy and floating, then dashing to get that ledge grab. Okay, now we're getting into the Shellwood arena. Dash down into the arena. Ideally, you get here with close to full soul. If you are 3 hits away from full silk, that is good. Any more than that is more than you need. So we hit that guy 3 times, then turn around and silk spear the other guy. Then I like to stand at this branch right here. I use that as a visual cue for where to stand. Then you see these stick bugs start to spawn. You can immediately dash into the first one, jump, needle twice, and then silk spear as soon as you hit the ground. That will kill the first one. Then we dash into the second, and we just try to kill it as fast as possible. Often it does an attack after your first hit, so your second hit might parry. You might need to jump up above and get a pogo instead. Then we return to our stick, and we do the same damn thing, okay? Then we dash into the second guy, and we get 1 needle slash, and we try and get a pogo off of him so we can get high enough to silk spear the flower. And that's how you do that arena. Now, sometimes you will not be able to silk spear the flower, and you're going to need to taunt it down because it's going to be so high that you can't even reach it. Just taunt it down and then do 3 nail slashes You can always get 3 nail slashes in before it attacks. Okay, now once you get down from this elevator, hit this button. And if this guy is on the right, you can actually get down here pretty quickly. Otherwise, if the guy's in your way, you'll have to jump above that elevator, which is a little bit slow. And we're just climbing up here. Now it is nice to kind of get whatever silk you can along the way, with ideally without taking damage, or going into the hazard. You know how to do this. You don't really need me to show you. Just get these mantles up here, and we are going to do Garama skip. Now, this is called Garama skip, but you only have to Garama once, which is what we found recently. You do the Garama, then you jump and do these nail slashes. This guy is gonna be lured down, and is gonna actually build up some speed. So he goes past you a little bit. Then you upslash that ledge to lure him past the bottom of this kind of spot. So he's down here, and if you nail slash again up here, it is going to lure him to the right. So he clears this ledge. Okay. Now you want to jump while doing those nail slashes. Otherwise, if you're staying on the ground, this guy will start its attack, and it's just going to sit there, and it's really annoying. Then once he's kind of in this position, we jump up to continue avoiding the attack, and we do pogos right there to continue luring it up. Now move backwards so it doesn't do that attack against you, because the attack is very slow. Then we just get the pogo. There's really not that much more to explain about it. Just make sure to keep in mind that it continues moving down with that acceleration. You can also do the Garamas instead, like the taunts instead. It's a little bit easier to do those. It's just a little bit slower. Once you're at this point, you're going to want to gather silk along the way. I like to pogo that guy before pogoing the flower, and hit this guy twice. You want to stand like, you see where there's this little spot sticking out, stand like right on the left side of it, and then this guy will pop out and you slash twice. Okay, then we kind of continue up here. I side slash this guy, land on the platform next to him, jump. I kind of did it slowly, but jump and then pogo it, and you just continue to the left. That's what I like to do. Now, there's an easy version of this skip. I'm going to show you that first, just with infinite HP. We're going to go like that. Then as soon as you get left of this guy, heal. Then after you get hit, use Drifter's Cloak and go to the platform. Now, if you have 1 HP, you're going to want to do a slightly different version of the skip, where you just Drifter's Cloak over there, then you dash and heal immediately. And the heal carries the speed from your dash forward without making you continue to fall down. So it locks your vertical position, so you just slide forward without falling. And you want to end up just to the left of this guy. Your heal finishes, and then you get knocked back. And then you land on the platform, just like that. Now, if you don't get the skip, or if you're just opting not to do the skip, keep in mind that you can use that silk that you farmed earlier to destroy any of these walls with the silk spear. And that saves just a little bit of time. That's why you farm silk no matter what. Regardless of which path you choose, continue on to get Walkling. And we're just going to immediately make a use of Walkling to head over to Widow. I often just do that damage tank. If you're not comfortable taking damage, go over top and don't do that damage tank. But we are going to be doing a heal skip. So like, sorry, we're going to be doing a heal no matter what, because we do a damage tank soon anyway. So with these walls, you'll notice sometimes they take 2 hits. That's because you dash attack from far enough away. The dash attack deals 2 hits for some reason. So you want to dash attack at max range, and the walls will go down in 2 hits. Same for all of these walls. And these walls, If you up slash from max range while moving toward them, they'll take 2 damage or half a damage. I don't know how that works, but don't worry about that too much. Anyway, damage tank there and down dash. And as long as you got through the first parts fast enough, you will be able to avoid this second guy. If you were a bit slow getting to that point, just don't do the damage tank, okay? Because you can die there pretty easily. Now, assuming you need to heal because you took that damage, down dash here, start the heal, and now you want to challenge Widow to start the fight. Don't hit up it to do the text box because that's just a time loss. Now, dash attack is really bread and butter with Widow. So, first attack, you just dash into him, he teleports away. Or she, I'm actually not sure. Now, whenever Widow does this attack where she's above you, you want to up slash, side slash after she lands. Because after she lands, she just pauses for a second. Then as she runs underneath you, you can either opt to do a pogo into her, then dash and follow up with another nail attack. Or you can just kind of land behind her and do a silk spear. I don't have enough silk, so I'm just going to do the pogo, and I totally whiffed, but that's okay. Now, you'll see that even with that attack where her hitbox is lowered, you can do a dash attack followed up with an immediate attack. That's the kind of nice thing about doing dash attacks, is your attack after the dash attack comes out very quickly. So every time you do that, it's like a nice time save. Now, when you stagger Widow, you want to do as many hits as possible without unstaggering her. Then you want to do a silk spear. Okay, that's just something you do with basically every boss. Okay, so I'm gonna jump over and silk spear, do my dash attack, follow up dash attack. And this is just kind of basic Widow play. Now, once she gets into the phase change, you can hit her as she jumps out of the arena. So as soon as that animation starts where she jumps away, do a nail slash, or you can even silk spear. You can also silk spear as she re-enters the arena before she does the scream. Just keep in mind that's fairly precise timing. I'm not going to bother. Now, phase 2. She only has 2 real attacks that she does, Bells and Claw. Now, whenever Widow is able to start an attack, you have to be ready for the Claw and jump over it, because it comes out very fast. Like if you're right next to her, you almost won't be able to react. So anytime she is neutral, she is about to choose what to do, be ready for the Claw. Right now, she is doing Bells. Now she backs up and she's going to start another attack. So I have to be ready for the Claw. She does Bells again. She teleports. She does Bells. I'm going to continue attacking. Then she backs up and does the Claw. But I knew she was about to do the Claw because she did 3 Bell attacks in a row. Then she'll always do the Claw after. Okay? Okay, so she's doing Bell attack. She's doing another Bell attack. I Silk Spear because I know she's going to do the back step, but I know that if she does the Claw after, I'm going to be able to jump out of the way in time. You have to be careful when you choose to Silk Spear, because if you Silk Spear when she can start the Claw attack, she will hit you during that Silk Spear, and yeah, you have to be really careful of that. Now, once you get to kind of 1 HP, you're going to want to play a bit more cautiously. She launches the Bells, and I'm just going to do a Silk Spear from range, and I'm going to do another Silk Spear because it's safe to do from that spot. But yeah, phase 2, generally, if you're 2 HP or lower, play it a bit more safe. Like, wait for the boss to do an attack, then punish with a Silk Spear, or wait for the boss to do an attack, then punish with a dash attack. Now, dash attacks in phase 2 are actually pretty safe, because even if she decides to do the Claw attack, your dash attack will bounce you up over top of her, then she will do the Claw attack underneath you. There's one more thing I want to highlight. Actually, two more things. Okay, first is this. I'm going to show you this a couple times. Why is my screen blurry? I think that's a debug mod jank. Okay, watch this. Pogo, dash through the enemy with the iframes. If you need to reposition because the bell is coming down here where you're standing, you can just pogo into the enemy, and immediately dash through them, and then you can just attack them from the other side. Just like that. That is something you can do with a lot of these bosses. Obviously not all of them. But if you want to dodge the bells, that is something you can do. But you can do the dash attack Silkspear against Widow, especially when she's up against a wall. It's really effective because you get the Silkspear out really quickly, and then you get the recoil bouncing back into you to get the Silkspear, like the animation, finished very quickly. That's something good to implement in Widow as well. But yeah, pretty simple boss once you understand it. I struggled with Widow a lot. As I figured it out, it got a lot easier over time. Okay, once you beat Widow, you will get the needle in and you will spawn into this area. We're just going to be doing some basic platforming up here. You can kind of do like a dash, a pogo dash to kind of cross that gap a bit faster. I don't know how important that is. Now, you can actually, this is a door you need to unlock with the needle in. This foreground object is kind of the distance you can needle in and still open the door. So as soon as the door kind of like does that little explosion thing, dash forward and get through the door. Now we're just doing some basic platforming. Going up here, then there's a big flat section over here. Testing your dive dashing. Once you wake up from this cutscene, okay, you might see a lot of people pull out the needle in. You don't have to do that, it doesn't actually do anything. You just have to wait for this lever to come up, hit it. Once it goes into the ground, immediately pause and save and quit out. Okay, this save and quit saves a bit of time. Then you just mash to re-enter your save. Then if you did it correctly, the bench will be there and you just exit to the right. Now jump onto this button. Then as soon as the button comes up, use the elevator. And we're just going to go into Bellheart and get the needle upgrade because we get a free needle upgrade from saving Bellheart. Now, you see the text is on the screen. Whenever text is on the screen like that, it prevents us from interacting with benches or entering doors. Open the inventory, close the inventory, and it cancels the text. Now we're just getting the needle upgrade, but if you are getting the second needle upgrade, you can't get it quite yet, but you can sell the relic. You can and should sell the relic at the relic shop. And then after you do that, you would go down to the Bell Beast down here and unlock the Bell Beast station so that you can backtrack to here later. Anyway, I am not doing that, so just come down here, and we're going back into Shellwood. Now we do need to gather a bit of soul on our way through here, so just hit whatever enemies make sense. We're gonna go above this elevator. You don't you have a lot of opportunities to get silk, so you don't need to like go far out of your way to hit these enemies like I just did. And a really good way to farm silk is when you're coming toward these flying enemies, just side slash, then up slash underneath them. Okay, you don't need full silk yet, but enter this room, jumping into it facing right, and we climb up like this. It's often easier to just kill that guy if it's going to get in the way. Same with this guy. These guys can be really annoying. If you take damage, don't worry about it too much because we are getting this bell. That unlocks a bench. You don't need to sit on it. You can sit on it for safety if you want, like a safety bench, but you don't really need the heal because we're going to be doing a heal skip shortly. So we get a free heal, essentially. So we are getting to Blasted Steps, another part of the run with some tricky skips. Now, stand up here, and you see kind of where these stones meet right here. Stone 1, stone 2, right here. Kind of made like a smiley face. Stand in between these two stones. Then dash to the right, Drifter's Cloak, buffer Drifter's Cloak again, and yeah, that is how you do Blasted Steps skip 1. Now if you mess up the skip, it's quite the detour to the left, up, and all the way around. Not the end of the world, but that's what you do if you mess up the skip. You can also farm enough silk off of this guy to get another heal. Just like that. The important thing is Drifter's Cloak at the apex of your jump, then do the dash and immediately heal as soon as you dash. Then during your heal, hold Drifter's Cloak, hold jump, so that you Drifter's Cloak immediately after the heal ends, okay? That is how you do this. Now we just continue over here and we're getting to Blasted Steps skip 2. Now you can do this pogo off this guy. This is not mandatory, but that's kind of how you do it. Then you continue up here, get this ledge grab and mantle up. That will set up the positioning for this skip. That is how you do Blasted Steps skip 2. It's harder than it looks, but you have to start your Drifter's Cloak at a very precise timing. Then you have to dash at a precise point and wall jump immediately after you dash. So this is a tough skip. Sometimes you will mess the skip up, and this guy's going to be in a nice position for you to just pogo off of him and fly over there. Now let me show you the visual cues. Obviously you start here, sprint jump, then you start your Drifter's Cloak around here at the highest part of the jump. Make sure that when you do the Drifter's Cloak, you let go of your sprint jump and then immediately repress the jump button. That is important, okay? That is very important for getting this skip. You want to just let go of jump and repress it the next frame, basically. Like, that's the idea, okay? Then as soon as you get to this chain that's in the background, that's around when you want to dash. Then immediately jump right after you dash off that wall, okay? That is Blasted Steps skip 2. If you really struggle with it, keep in mind that you can still go around. It's just going to be a slight detour. On the right, you can enter it from down below. Once you get here, there's a little skip you can do kind of like this. Just like that. Pretty straightforward. I don't think that needs any explanation. And you can just kind of do sprint jumps up here to cross these. Just hold sprint and do your jumps. Do a wall dash there. You can do a dive dash there if you so choose. Right here, you can do a pogo off this, Drifter's Cloak. Get that wall jump, and then you want to pogo on that guy as he kind of spawns. I find it easiest to kind of like pogo around where his shield is, and you can get enough height to pogo off this bell. Otherwise, just do the intended path. Now, once you get here, the movement I like to do is kind of like that. Then we can pogo off that. Do a wall jump, wall dash into a wall jump off, into that bell. And we are at the last judge. Okay, this is kind of like the halfway point-ish of the run. You can needle in from all the way out here. You need 2 silk At this point, by the way, if you don't have 2 silk, you're going to have to go back and get more silk, which is really painful. Trust me. Now, Last Judge is actually one of the more simple bosses in the run. Main thing you need to do to optimize this, you just Silkspear whenever it's safe to Silkspear, and you don't get hit. Okay, the biggest time save is not getting hit. Getting hit here sucks because you have to take the HP you have after this fight all the way to Cogwork Dancers. And the movement to Cogwork Dancers, you can take damage there too. So play this fight fairly safe. Okay, she always does this attack when the fight starts. You can jump over and do a Silkspear, so just to avoid the flail coming back into you. And this spin attack, this attack comes out fast. So you want to be watching her hands, like right around here, where she starts spinning. Just kind of fixate on that spot and be ready to dash away if she does that telegraph. Okay, stagger. I'm just gonna heal up because I like having health and not dying. Now she's going into her second phase because she did the chest bump, whatever you want to call it. Then you just continue hitting the boss until she actually starts the spin attack, dash away, Silkspear, Silkspear. Okay, you can get 2 Silkspears in during that pretty easily. Then when you're following this attack, be careful you don't Silkspear or heal until you know where these columns of fire are. React to them, don't blindly Silkspear or heal. Yeah, okay? You want to be careful in this fight. Okay, that's definitely important. Okay. Now, only do 1 Silkspear per wave of fire. There are going to be 4 waves of fire, then the boss will stop. I still have a box in the screen, I'm so sorry. That's the Last Judge. I'm just gonna leave it at that 1 attempt because this boss is not super complicated. You just need to Silkspear and avoid damage. It's really one of the more simple bosses in the run. It's not easy, it's just simple. Because it is hard to react, especially to the spin attack with the flail. It's hard to react to that. So if you struggle with the Last Judge, don't feel bad about it. Because I'm saying it's simple, and it is simple, but it's still hard. Okay, so we hit this and we enter here. Now this is kind of like the platform puzzle. We want to upslash this one. Ledge grab, ledge grab. Let's try that again. Then we sprint jump over here and go on here. Then we wall jump off of there, land on here. Then we get the mantle and we dash over and sprint jump to the right. That way we can just kind of skip jumping on one platform. There are some wall jumps you can do below. They're very hard. Now we just go in here. I like to do a little pogo there. Cute little pogo. Right here, you jump, up slash, dash into the wall 3 times. Okay. Just, you can do that from pretty low, like all the way down here. Then you just jump up. Now I like to do this movement, kind of like this. Pretty straightforward. And we're just going to the right, dash into there, wall jump, dash. Wall jump, wall jump, wall jump, wall jump, wall jump. Pretty simple stuff. And we're just going to the right. Now hit this lever and be ready to down dash. Then we jump dash off of mantling that ledge. And we just kind of continue over to Lace. So Lace can laugh at us. Now after this text, the enemies are going to spawn. We're going to pogo off the enemy to the left of us. You can see him on the ground. Then we just kind of wall jump up from there. Pogo off the second bell. Then sprint jump over to that glass, up slash it, pogo off this guy as he spawns and continue left. And we just sprint jump over here, jump onto that platform. Then we just do these ledge jumps all the way up to this left transition. And here we just sprint jump over top both these guys. Now, when we enter this room, this is actually a cycle-based room. So we want to do movement like this so that we get to this ledge in time and we can ledge jump off of it. Ledge jump off of this, ledge jump off of this. That is the cycle you want to hit without pausing. Let me show you this properly. Okay, this is the movement you want to do. Now, you might be very intimidated by these pogos. They're not quite as bad as they look, but the trick to doing them is you pogo to the right, and then as you are moving to the right, you hold left so that you immediately start moving left after the pogo. Okay, then we want to sprint jump up, down dash, then pogo to avoid the hardball, and immediately sprint jump, dash over. You can pogo those spikes just for safety, and then dash and continue to the right. Now ledge get up off that platform, right? Now, you might be afraid and intimidated by that bell throwing guy, and I don't blame you, those guys are terrifying. But as long as you continue through this room quickly, that guy's not going to be a problem. Just ignore him completely. Now, dash attack that lever. And we're going to pogo dash through these guys. After the pogo dash, you can hit them twice pretty easily, just like that, if you need silk, which I do. Now, Cogwork Dancers. Usually I get to here with full silk and full soul. I'm going to show you how to do this fight, assuming you're at full silk and full soul. If you're not at full health, heal. If you can't heal and you're not at full health, then you don't do the scream skip that we're about to do. If you're at full health, do the scream skip. This is how you do it. Wall jump off and don't hit any direction. Just hold jump and fall down. This sets you up for the scream skip. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, as soon as the boss hits me out of the stun, I'm going to nail slash, then immediately Silkspear. Okay, then I go like this, and you'll notice that I don't hit the boss while I have full silk. That's actually important. This is my third Silkspear, and I'm going to hit the boss 4 more times. 1, 2, 3, 4. That kills it. Now I have enough silk to heal up. I think Nebula actually found that one. And it lets you do the scream skip and get through the first phase like that, but it also gives you safety going into the next phase. So only 3 silk spears in the first phase so that you can heal up for phase 2. Now phase 2, you fight the one on the right. Do not fight the one on the left. Okay? These guys have separate, for those who don't know, they have separate health pools, and it's not shared. You only have to kill one of them to advance to the next phase. Now, the reason why we fight the one on the right is because when they join together in the center, you can only damage the one on the right. You can't damage the one to the left. Okay, so the only real option here is attacking the one on the right. There's no reason to go after the left one. It's just a time loss. Okay, so as soon as he comes out here, you can start hitting the enemy. Now this part is much less scripted. After this attack, the Cogwork Dancers always return to the positions they were at before this attack. And you want to make, like in this phase, you want to make use of silk spearing into the wall. All that tech. You can also do a silk spear while they're up in the air like that. Ideally, you don't go into phase 3 with 1 HP. I'm distracted explaining this stuff. So, yeah. Okay, this is phase 3. We're just taking our time so I have the opportunity to explain more things. And guys, like you can see, they're quite easy to dodge if you just take your time. This is not like a super hard fight, but when you're trying to speed through it, it gets a bit trickier. So see, when they're in the center, the only HP bar is the Cogwork Dancer on the right. So you can, if you hit them right now, you lower the HP of the one on the right, but not the one on the left. Now, after this dance attack, the Cogwork Dancers go to the positions they started the fight at. So the right dancer goes to the right, and the left dancer goes to the left after the dance attack in the center. So remember, after they do the dash attack, where they're dashing across the screen, they go back to the positions they were at right before the attack. After the dance attack, they go to the positions they started the fight in. So this guy goes to the right side, this guy goes to the left side. That's Cogwork Dancers. I think that's basically all you need to know. Obviously, that was a really sloppy fight, but like, you just maximize your damage by doing all the Silkspear animation cancel tech I taught to you already. Dash, Silkspear. Just make use of all of that tech, and you will kill the boss fast. And hopefully, you don't die. Frankly, like, I'm not an expert at Cogwork Dancers, so I probably am not going to show you a perfect fight, but that's the idea. Okay, so as soon as this guy blows up, you'll see livesplit will split for Cogwork Dancers being dead. When that happens, you can save and quit out. If you're not doing a run, you can kind of use the visual cue of the Cogwork Dancer's body hitting the ground. Save and quit out, come back in, and then we talk to the elevator. Okay, and this is a fun platforming segment coming up. I'm going to show you the movement I use because that's just going to be, it's going to be a little bit easier to roughly emulate the movement I use than kind of just like blindly going through it. So Pogo here, just walk left, Pogo here, twice. Once you get to this small platform, Pogo left twice, dash to the right to land on this platform, dash above this guy's head, land on this small platform, dash twice, Pogo this guy, Pogo off the saw blade, dash to the wall, Drifter's Cloak, Pogo, not Pogo, sorry, dash. Just kind of do that basic movement. This is like mostly intended strats, but we're just doing it quickly, okay? Be careful pogoing the saw blades from too close. You can take damage when you pogo from too close. Now, next room. You want to dash in and immediately dash as soon as you leave this platform. That will let you do a ledge get up right here. Okay, that's the easiest way to get in. Then you dash off this platform and pogo these saw blades and dash onto the next platform. Now, you want to pogo that saw blade there, Drifter's Cloak, pogo that saw blade. So you're pogoing both of these saw blades when they are on the right. Okay, that's the kind of easy strat getting through this room. Pogo, needle, dash, needle this, just to get this a little bit faster, and avoid hitting these levers. Obviously. You'll do it eventually, and you'll learn not to. Now you can upslash this box, just to avoid getting knockback on yourself. And this arena is actually really fun. I love this arena. So you want to stand kind of close to this candlestick right there. And when this enemy spawns, it'll jump onto the screen and it's gonna actually like spawn up here and then fall to the ground. So hit this guy 3 times, upslash that guy, I missed, that's okay. Hit this right guy twice and let him attack to the left and then jump over Silkspear all 3 of them. Then you dash in and hit this guy once. Sometimes you'll take damage, that's totally fine. Now stand in the center for wave 2. We are going to up slash that guy as soon as he spawns. This guy right here, slash him, and then jump overhead and Silkspear. You should get all 3 of them. Then you dash in, hit all 3 of them 1 time. That's the most satisfying part of the arena. Now get ready on the right side for wave 3. This is going to be 3 flying enemies. Wave 3, 3 flying enemies. Then you Silkspear the 2 of them on the right. Now, ideally, you get a hit on 2 enemies when you up slash there, and then you can jump up and Silkspear. Ideally, you hit both of them. I did not, so now we have to up slash this guy to death. And this is wave 4. So we want to stand approximately here, and there's going to be one of those guys that jump in again. We're going to hit him 3 times. Then we want to up slash the same flying guy from before. Then we dash attack this guy. Move a bit to the right, and then dash overhead. Okay, now you see how these guys on the right kind of line up? We're going to wait for them to kind of, well, they didn't cooperate. Ideally, the guy who's to my left flies downward a little bit and you get all 3. I did not, that is fine. And then you just kind of hit this guy until he dies. Watch out for the bells. If a bell is going to hit you, slash it away. Now at this point, you can heal. Now I want to get this silk just because I have nothing else to do. Then as this guy spawns, hit him 3 times as he's jumping in. Then you can get a pogo and a couple more slashes on him to kill him. That will give you enough silk to heal again. Now you want to be at 5 HP, so just do the heal. Now we're continuing. That arena is really fun. I'd suggest practicing it a little bit because it's a spot where you can easily die. You can save a lot of time by getting good at that arena. Now we're gonna fall down here. We want to pogo that guy if he's in the way. And we're just going to go right and then left. Now, once we get here, if we just sprint to the right, this guy's gonna fall on us and hit us. So what we do a pogo down here. Then you see I'm currently doing the dash after the pogo. Then I do another pogo while holding right and immediately dash. That gives you pogo dash movement, which, as you know, is faster than just sprinting, which lets you get past this guy without getting hit, okay? Now, you see this guy? He's attacking to the right. Sometimes you get down here fast enough that this guy hits you through the wall for 2 damage. So you want to stay a little bit further away, kind of falling down the center here. Then you pogo to the left and dash to the right like that. Now we're just heading to the right, and you see these rails in the background. You just follow these rails. So fall down, rails go left, dash left, and head to the transition the rails lead you to. Now we're just going left, and this is the spot where we jump off this box and wall dash to avoid this guy. Wall dashing will always get you past that guy. We're gonna sprint jump over the saw blades, and I like to just hold sprint into this room and down dash as soon as you get to the drop. Once again, another down dash. You can hit this if you need the checkpoint, like if you think you're gonna die to Trobbio. Okay, so I'm gonna show you Trobbio. So just mash through this text, and as soon as these clouds appear, I like to stand just to the left of this cloud. Just to the left, right where I'm standing, and as soon as Trobbio pops up from the ground, I jump, needle, dash, needle. Okay, that's just a nice opener that I like to do. Try not to follow up with that weird dash attack. That's just kind of something I did by accident. And if you're in a spot like this, look for safe spots to heal. Okay, so as soon as Trobbio goes underground, like if you heal the instant after, it's pretty safe to do. Now the tornado attack, usually you want to pogo, then dash away from Trobbio, and Silkspear on the ground. If you don't have enough silk for a Silkspear, you want to be overhead of Trobbio and get Pogos in, and as soon as the tornado attacks, drop beside him and do some melee attacks. Now, when Trobbio jumps into the air, you're generally going to want to, like, he's going to move toward you most of the time. Needle slash him horizontally, then you fall down and you kind of like up slash him as you're falling. Then you can jump up again and just continue doing your needle slashes. And when he staggers, you want to do those 3 hits, land, and get the Silkspear, just like that. You will have a lot of nice opportunities to kind of do 3 Silkspear. Now, obviously, Trobbio comes out from the 5th one. And you want to get really good at getting multiple nail slashes as Trobbio flies past you. Okay, that's something you're going to want to focus on. And then if you can get 2 nail slashes, 2 pogos on the tornado, then dash away in Silkspear, that's also a really great punish. Don't jump when he does that because the balls will hit you. That's why you don't jump. Okay, that's how you punish the tornado attack optimally. And let me just show you one more Trobbio attempt, just in case there's something. I'm sure we've missed some things, and I just want to make sure that I'm showing you all of the punishes properly. So once again, stand to the left of this cloud, jump dash, get 2 nail attacks in. Then you just kind of follow Trobbio. You often end up being next to the Trobbio against the wall, and you can get a Silkspear in. You can see as Trobbio pops up, jump with him, then get the side slash right here, then fall down as he goes overhead and get another up slash as he's flying over top. Okay, then you jump up and just kind of continue getting those needle slashes. Now, I did 2 hits after that stagger, landed and Silkspeared. You should do 3. That was a mistake. The Silkspear always knocks the boss out of the stagger. So you want to get as many needle hits in before doing the Silkspear without unstaggering the boss. So that's usually going to be 3 needle hits, then Silkspear. Keep in mind you can hit these balls away if one's going to hit you. I tried to do it there and failed. It's hard to do sometimes. And often when Trobbio is stopping in the middle like that, he's gonna throw balls. But after he throws balls, you know he's not gonna do it again. He's gonna pop out on the next one. Okay, that's 3 hits, land, Silkspear. Okay, that is kind of your bread and butter against a lot of bosses. Now, when he tornadoes, that's a great opportunity to dash away and heal. He's on the other side of the arena, so I know when he ends the tornado, tornadoes are going to come up like this. They're not going to hit me. I am safe. Tornado is a great opportunity to get a heal in if you're low health. If you're in that spot where you're about to fall into him, you can Drifter's Cloak sometimes to get out of jail free. That was risky. I was kind of hoping he would get knocked back far enough by the Silkspear that I wouldn't take damage, but yeah, that is Trobbio. Obviously, you can do Trobbio much faster than that. When you're learning the run, you will probably need to take it a bit slower. But it's a very high skill ceiling fight. It takes a long time to learn. So if you're dying, no worries. I did too when I was starting. So Trobbio's Mirror, this is a great optional upgrade. I'm not going to take it, but if you choose to, I think that's a totally reasonable choice. For this elevator, we like to hit it and then re-enter the room. Elevator goes all the way down. And something I just did there that I should note. Okay, if you move into a wall, you get a wall cling. It stops you. But if you want to move as close to the wall as possible without getting the wall cling, up slash. That's just a trick to get you as far forward, whichever direction you want to go as possible without getting the wall cling. Now, we like to dash, hit that lever, hit the elevator back up because we're going to be coming back to this room. Okay, so the way I like to do this room is I do a jump dash there. I land on this platform and just continue sprinting. And after I leave each platform, I do a dash. So just like this, dash, 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 and you just go through the room easy peasy. Now, once you get here, you're just gonna kind of be doing these dive dashes. You can hit this bench by opening your inventory and closing it if you so choose. Down dash here. The pogo momentum from hitting that will actually allow you to move up the air current much faster. Okay. Now this drop is pretty simple. You go on the left side of the middle, right there, and just fall down here until you see this guy to the right of you. Then you can start moving right up against this wall. Once you clear this wall, dash, and you'll land right there. Now this room is pretty straightforward. We just kind of go through it as fast as the lava allows us without getting hit by the lava. And you dash past those guys. Then we go like that, okay? Not as hard as it looks. And if you're afraid that you won't get the lava cycle, basically when you get to this point, if you're slow and you Drifter's Cloak up here, you're gonna hit the lava. So one thing you can opt to do instead is do a jump dash and then Drifter's Cloak. The only issue with this is that the enemy will turn around and hit you as you ledge get up. So then you have to dash after the enemy hits you. Taking damage here doesn't matter, so it's totally fine to do that. It's just slightly slower. That's why I don't do it. Now we're gonna just do jump dashes, sprinting over here, nothing fancy, and we get to Clawline. And I'm gonna show you two ways to get through this room. There's kind of the beginner strat, and then there's one that's a little bit tougher. So this is the beginner strat. Just hold A after each use of Clawline. Get over there. Then we just go over here, Clawline this guy, then Clawline. Okay, so the other more difficult strat is sprint jumping into this wall. And you'll notice that if you wall jump too high, you get a bonk on the ceiling and you just get stopped in your place. So you want to get the second jump as high as possible without getting that bonk. Then we do 4 quick claw lines. After each claw line, you hold A so that you buffer Drifter's Cloak. Make sure you don't mash claw line, otherwise you'll end up doing a 5th claw line past this platform and it's really annoying. Once you get here, you sprint jump, claw line that guy, claw line again, claw line into the hook. Okay, so let me show you the arena. You're gonna stand right here and slash this guy, jump over. The guy on the left is going to attack to the right, and then you Silkspear both of them. Now you're going to want to, you can just claw line these guys to kill them, but you want to gather enough soul for 1 Silkspear. So get enough soul for 1 Silkspear, then you can claw line the next guy. We're going to stand on the left and Silkspear as high as possible as these guys spawn. After you use Silkspear, you need to hit each of them 2 times. Then you are going to get this guy, and once you see the rubble spawning in the ceiling, jump and Silkspear. Okay. Then this guy is 5 hits after the Silkspear, or you can Silkspear, hit, Silkspear, depending on how much silk you have. And the kind of fun thing to do there is slap, claw line that guy, and he will fall into the other guy. Okay, now we're just going back through here. If you need to, you can take the safety bench, but it is a bit of a detour. It's just hitting the same bench again. Otherwise, if you die, you will spawn at Clawline. Now you can just sprint, and this guy will get out of the way. Easy peasy. You're gonna wanna just kind of go like this. That's kind of like the easiest movement to do. You're gonna want to here, you go like that, then you Clawline as soon as you clear the wall, and then Pogo the spikes after, then dash. Okay, now this, the start of this room is pretty simple. You just kind of sprint dash and get these wall jumps. I like to Clawline, Pogo, Pogo, so that I get the Pogo off these higher spikes, and I'll have enough height to dash onto this platform, get a sprint jump, and Clawline immediately to that platform, carry the sprint, get another sprint jump, and make it all the way up here. Now you hit this wall twice, Clawline through it. One little trick you can use in this room is as soon as the steam appears, you do 2 slashes, then you can kind of jump into it. You can actually jump into that steam a lot earlier than you think. So 1, 2. While it's still like visible, you can jump into it. Just don't jump into it too early, otherwise you will get hit by it. Anyway, we're going up here. There is a safety bench right here if you are at 1 HP, like I am. And we just hit this button and continue on to the cylinder. Get a couple dialogue boxes. This spot is actually pretty annoying, like surprisingly. You want to claw line to this guy, then dash immediately after the claw line. And then this guy, that is usually what I like to do, is claw line, then pogo. You can also pogo him and then claw line, try to claw line to this ledge. That's something that takes a little bit more practice, but is probably more consistent. And we're just kind of moving up here, claw line to this wall, get some wall jumps, then get to this lever. You can get through that little platform earlier than you'd think. Then we claw line dash into the transition so that you sprint on the other side of the transition. If you claw line into a transition, you will walk into the next room, which is slow. Give this guy the cylinder, and we mash X to get the first part of the threefold song. Okay, so once you're done talking to this guy, we can just go out to the left. We're gonna want to wall jump up here, up slash this, then we just continue climbing up. And we're just going to continue left until we get to this box, up slash it, claw line, pogo that guy. And once again, avoid hitting these levers. Now this room is a little bit tricky. Normally what I do is I do this dash, pogo on that saw blade, and then we jump over here. Like we jump over the right saw blade, then we claw line under the left one. For this room, we do a claw line into this wall, wall jump, claw line that saw blade as well. And then pogo, pogo, come up here. Then we're going to upper Cogwork core, which is a bit trickier. I like to claw line as soon as I enter there, then sprint jump and claw line here. As soon as that goes down, you can kind of slash to get off of it. And you'll want to make a save state before entering this room, okay? Because you will need to practice this. Claw line as soon as you enter the room. Then once you get here, under this guy, there's this little nub in the rail. Jump off of that and claw line to that platform. Then you want to get the ledge jump there, claw line into this guy, then claw line the saw blade, pogo, pogo, claw line again. This will bring you up to this wall, or you can wall jump up to the next hook. Then right under this ceiling, you want to jump into it and then claw line left to hit this saw blade, okay? Then as soon as you claw line into this saw blade, you hold to the right so that you kind of get up here and you can get the ledge grab. If you don't want to do that, you can also just fall off of that hook, jump, jump, dash up here. Then this guy, you want to get 4 hits on him for Silk. Now, sometimes he is further to the right and you actually have to chase him to get these hits. You want to do 2 hits, then 2 hits, just like that, okay? Then we go up here, we get this ledge grab, dash to set up the position, then sprint dash to the left, get this claw line to the left, claw line to the right, Pogo. I kind of fell a little bit after that Pogo. Then you want to claw line left and hold right because you want to make some space so that you're not too close for this claw line right here. Then that should give us enough height to reach this hook. Then we jump up, claw line this saw blade, Pogo. And if you want to get around this guy, sometimes you might want to do the wall dash. But either way, you get up here, Pogo, Pogo, claw line again. You can play this pretty safe. That is generally the movement I like to do. Just, you know, be careful. If you get hit up here, you spawn very far down, so don't get hit. Now this is one of the more fun parts. You want to do 2 wall dashes, jump, Pogo that, dash into the wall, up slash and hit both of these, and hit the second one here twice. Now do a full jump, claw line, Pogo, Pogo, claw line, dash over, and then claw line to this one so you hit it, slash, slash, dash off this platform and up slash at the perfect timing to hit both of them. Then you want to jump out, hit both of them, dash back to the wall twice, then you fall down, hit both of those, then you jump back up, Pogo, jump, dash onto this platform, then claw line, and dash out of the claw line, jump up, up slash, you got all of them easy. Now I'm going to show you that without all the pauses. Okay, that is the fast strat. Then once you get down here, as you're falling, dash, and then jump back up. Okay, that is upper Cogwork core. There are some faster strats you can do on the climb up, but the movement I just showed you is kind of like the consistent way to do it. Most consistent and simple strats that are fast without doing anything too risky. And keep in mind, if there's any movement there that you struggle with, you can do intended strats through that room and not lose that much time. Now, this is another spot where you're going to want to practice, so save state before you enter the room. Then Pogo left, Pogo right, tap right just slightly so you dodge the saw blade. Then claw line, Pogo left twice, dodge that guy, claw line left down here, and then as you clear this platform below that saw blade, Pogo and dash. And let me show you that without the pausing. Pogo, Pogo, claw line, Pogo, dash. Okay, that is kind of the fast drop through the room, but an easy version. Okay, now jump around, and we're going to go down here, claw line, Pogo, dash. Now, you're gonna want to hit these guys twice each. You can also hit them 3 times each if you so choose, if you just want the extra silk in case you need a heal or something. Now we're going to, you do a sprint jump, and then dash at the apex of your jump, then Pogo this guy, then hit him again on the way down. Once you get to these guys, jump over them and Pogo, just so you don't land on that guy. Then we're going to climb up these hooks. There is a safety bench to the left if you want to grab that. It's not a huge time loss to get it. Then we're just going to kind of continue up here, Pogo this guy, and get the claw line. Then there is a fast cycle in this room. Okay, get the ledge grab and jump up. That will activate this guy so he's further up. Then you claw line, Pogo. Okay, get the claw line there. Jump under this guy. Okay, get the Drifter's Cloak, and then just dash, jump up. Now let me show you this drop. just Clawline immediately to this one. Then you can slash to immediately drop from there. Then you Pogo right, dash left. Slash to drop, Pogo, so you don't get the hard fall. Then you jump around here, Pogo right, dash left. Avoid dashing into this ceiling because it will knock you downward into those spikes. Immediately hold right. Okay, that's the fast strat. The slow strat, the safe strat, you just do the exact same thing, but you Drifter's Cloak whenever you get scared. Like if you get scared, Drifter's Cloak is pretty straightforward. Now, we're getting to High Hall's Gauntlet, so if you need a safety bench, I highly recommend this one. It's a wonderful bench. A really great bench to get because this is a very punishing part of the run. Okay, we'll hit the guy on the left. Then we get this Silkspear. Now, depending on whether the flying guy is higher up, like you just saw, if he's higher up, we jump up, get a Clawline, then Pogo him. That's going to cause him to be lured to attack down into the left, like he just did, where you get the Silkspear on all three. If the guy's further down and you do the Clawline, it's going to cause him to attack up into the left. We don't want that. So if he's further down, like right here, just jump up and get the Pogo. That will cause him to be, you'll just hit him downwards and he's going to be like right here, and you can dash over and get the Silkspear on all three. Once you get the Silkspear, you just kind of go in and get those hits with preferably without taking 3 damage. Then we stand on the left side of wave 2, right here. Get 3 hits as that guy spawns. Silkspear both of them. I was a little bit slow, so I didn't get the Silkspear on both. What you're going to learn about High Hall's Gauntlet is that you're going to kind of mess up the waves a little bit, and you'll often have to do a bit of improvisation, but you're going to have a general script for each wave that you want to follow. And I'm going to explain the script, but I might not execute it perfectly. Here, we want to stand on the right as this guy spawns in. Remember, flying AI, if they're close, they move away. They're going to kind of move together, and you get a Silkspear on both of them. Now, the goal here is to, we kill the bell thrower with just 1 hit, and we get enough soul to get a Silkspear on both of these guys. And then we just finish off the Silk Eater guy. Then we're going to have another wave where it's 2 guys that spawn in the center. It's going to be the flying guys. As they spawn in, jump, needle dash needle, just like this. Then we get enough silk for a Silkspear. Sometimes you'll just be able to jump in Silkspear again, and that will kill the first one. Now, some Silk Eaters in High Hall's Gauntlet spawn on a timer. Some of them spawn after 1 enemy in the wave is killed. In this wave, there's a Silk Eater that spawns after one of these guys dies. Okay, so it's nice to be able to just Silkspear twice and immediately kill this one. We don't have enough silk for that, but we're going to go in and do 2 more slashes to finish that one off. That will cause the Silk Eater to spawn, and we're going to have enough silk from hitting that Silk Eater to Silkspear both of them. Now, we've got Maestros. I have 1 HP here, so I'm going to be playing a little bit scared, but as they spawn in, what you can do is wall jump off, get a nail slash as you rise up, then as you are kind of up here, get another nail slash, then Clawline, and dash back to the wall, and get a Silkspear. Okay, obviously my silk is like lower than it should be, but that's kind of the idea. Slash, slash, Clawline, dash away, Silkspear. You just kind of dash toward him and get the final nail hit. Just like that. Now, if you're in the position where you're low health and you just want to farm silk to heal, you can just kind of do that. Needle dash needle on these guys. If you're really scared, you can just stand under and do up slashes. It is quite slow because the up slashes hit him away from you, but often you will find yourself doing that because High Hall's Gauntlet is scary. But ideally, you get a Silkspear on the second Maestro as well. That really speeds things up. Then this guy, you want to hit him twice as he falls down. If you have Silk at this point, you can hit him once, land, and Silkspear before he screams. It's kind of tight to do though. Now this, I'm just gonna show you how to do this fight visually. This is what you do for each attack. You'll want to get an extra Silkspear off. And this gives us full Silk. So we're gonna have 3 flyers in this wave. We're gonna jump up and Silkspear 2 of them. We Silkspeared 1. But after you do that, then you want to kind of like do a loop around them. You get this Silkspear, then you run around, and that running around kind of like that makes them all group up around you. Then you can ideally get a Silkspear on all 3. That is not what happened. We are just doing, this is where you just do up slashes, like when you've totally bungled a wave. This is good for you to know because this will happen to you. You just kind of, you don't know what to do, so you just stand under the flying enemies and up slash. That's a pretty safe way to deal with most enemies in High Hall's Gauntlet, if you're not sure what to do. Now this wave, okay, there's gonna be 2 bell throwers. You can opt to just jump up and Silkspear both bell throwers. But if you're ready for this guy, you can hit him 3 times as he enters, dash away, Silkspear, dash back in, and hit him 1 more time. I'm gonna kind of show you that, just like that. Obviously, ideally, you're in the center as he spawns. But that guy's really annoying to deal along with the bell throwers, so I recommend focusing him down first. And that also leads the Silk Eater to spawn, because you killed 1 enemy. This is another one of these wave of these enemies where you do the needle swing, pogo, needle swing, dash, needle swing as they spawn. Always remember you can slash those bells away. If you don't do that, they will destroy you, okay? Now, after this wave, we have a Maestro and another flying guy. Now, ideally, you get a needle slash on both of them. That will seriously speed this wave up, but it's more important to heal if you need to heal. Don't go into this with 1 HP. That's a very bad move. But if you do go into this with 1 HP, what I recommend is try to get, like, okay, these guys attack 1 at a time. It's kind of like Oro and Motto. So if the guy on the right attacks, Pogo over the guy on the left, because the guy on the left is not going to be attacking at the same time. Then get up to a corner and heal up. This is like one of the safest places to heal in this wave. Anyway, now they're grouped up. Now it's time to unleash the Silkspears. Silkspears will destroy these guys very fast. So like, obviously these guys are a nightmare if you kind of play passively, but once you kind of get the confidence to throw out those Silkspears, they die really quickly. And just, like I said, make use of this quarter to heal up, and keep in mind the rule that they generally attack 1 at a time, okay? Those are my tips for High Hall's Gauntlet. It is something you'll need to practice a lot. Just keep in mind, develop a script for each wave that works for you, and know how you want to improvise and go off script. So like have a kind of set strategy to deal with each enemy if you have like a straggler left over. Now, after you're done High Hall's Gauntlet, you save and quit out. Generally, the best place to save and quit out to is upper Cogwork Core. Then you just do the drop a second time. Of course, we took the safety bench in High Halls, so we just warp back out here. That is also fine. It's not a huge time difference. And we also get to hit this guy for soul, or these guys for soul, before we go into the lace fight. And you can see that's not a huge difference between dropping from up above, but ideally you keep that hard save in upper Cogwork Core. Okay, and then we just mashed through this text, and we will imminently be going into the Lace 2 fight. Now, as soon as you mash through the upcoming cutscene, the Lace 2 fight immediately starts. I will first go through kind of like the basic strats, then we're going to get into like the Clawline usage and stuff like that. Okay, gonna start with some more simple strats. This is a fight where you have to be very reactive, so just watch for which attack she does, and you need to have a script in response to each attack, okay? So these attacks you can just kind of like jump over. Often when you land after doing a needle attack, you're going to Silkspear as well. Right now she's doing the jump attack. You just up slash her, then Silkspear when she lands. Just like that. Now, if she does the parry and you hit it, you want to jump and then see where she attacks. Either she attacks on the ground directly in front of her, or she warps behind you and you just dash forward and get away and then Silkspear. Okay, this is phase 2. Again, we're kind of using safe strats. That is probably not the best healing location, but another punish you can do when she does that, if you don't have enough silk to Silkspear, jump up to her, dash, land, dash, and just hit her twice. That is a more advanced strat. When she's doing that combo, you can kind of like just stand outside her range and do 2 little attacks. Okay, that's the response to the parry when she goes behind you. Just kind of dodge her and then Silkspear, jump and Silkspear. This attack you can Silkspear, of course. This attack, she does the 2 dashes. You can just kind of jump over them and hit her each time. Up slash, then Silkspear, or hit her again. Okay, so now I'm going to introduce Clawline down dash tech. The idea here is you Clawline into Lace, then as soon as the Clawline ends, you down dash, which like Clawline normally pops you up into the air. You down dash and then you attack immediately after. So just like that. You can actually pull this off after most attacks that Lace does, but you don't want to only rely on that. Silkspear is still great DPS, so whenever Lace does an attack which you can easily punish with Silkspear, throw that Silkspear out, okay? Don't just rely only on Clawline down dash, but when she staggers, or when she does the phase change, you can get 2 Clawline down dashes really easily. And it's just great to do. Just watch, just like that. And whenever she does that attack, you still want to Silkspear it. Just like that. Silkspear that. If you need to, you can just run away from that combo attack on the ground and then do the Clawline down dash attack as she ends the combo. Just like that. Now you want to Silkspear that for sure. It's just very easy. Then sometimes, like in the second phase, whenever she does a dash, she follows it up with another dash, and then she chooses either dash or the upward attack. It's random on the third attack. Okay, that's Lace 2. Not much more to say. Talk to Lace. Don't push yourself to do the Clawline down dash tech before you've kind of figured the fight and the rhythm of the fight out. That is a little bit more advanced, but knowing how to do it and speeding things up does actually help. So I would always do it when she staggers and when she phase changes, even if you're a beginner, because the timing of it isn't that hard once you've done it a few times. So do it during those easy moments where it's free, basically. And then as you figure the fight out more, you can implement it in more spots. Just don't forget to Silkspear. Silkspear is great DPS. Okay, now we're just climbing up here. And we are going to Grandmother Silk. Once you wake up, we're just going to the right. You're gonna wall, once you get in here, you immediately wall jump off the left wall. Don't get the bench. There's literally no point. Because if you die to Grandmother Silk, you just spawn next to Lace, which is the same distance away. So it's not really much of a safety bench. Anyway, you climb up here, Clawline, Pogo, Clawline. Hit that. Hit that. Pogo off of this, then Clawline up to this platform. Okay, now we are at Grandmother Silk. Now, I'd suggest you get used to and comfortable using Clawline to navigate around the boss arena, and then you're going to want to do this. Not get hit. This is the dash, needle, dash, needle. Just, we kind of do this just repeatedly, and optimally, you also Clawline to the boss. That's kind of why learning to Clawline is so important. You can do this really fast once you get the hang of it. That's why, like, you can see combining this dash tech along with Silkspears is going to be really strong. But yeah, you're also going to be mixing in Clawlines optimally. Once you get comfortable with them, start implementing this. Just doing that as fast as possible, and just set the boss to max. And just practice this tech for a bit, okay? And don't do it so balls to the walls that you get hit. And then start mixing in Silkspears once you're kind of comfortable. You see 3 attacks, Silkspear. You see there's not a follow-up, then you can just Silkspear. So just find the opportunities to Silkspear, be ready for swords when they come from off screen like that. And this is Grandmother Silk, okay? Obviously, there's still like a subsequent phase where you kind of have to deal with the spikes. Once you get to the spike phase, all it means is you do more Clawlines just to avoid the spikes. Continue dealing damage without having to think about the spikes, basically. And in any situation like this, where she's kind of like hiding behind the rocks, you just Silkspear from range, obviously. Okay. This should give you a pretty good idea of how to do Grandmother Silk. Don't dash into that like I did. It's really safe to just Silkspear in between the webs, so you find like a safe spot, then Silkspear from within that safe spot. Obviously, you don't want to really mess around with doing like dash movement in those situations. Find the safe spots to Silkspear. Clawline to stay on top of the boss when she's like far away. Find spots where you can safely clawline and just continue doing the needle dash needle. I think we can safely end there. So once you've kind of gone through, done all of the rooms, played against all the bosses and practiced them a bit, you should definitely try doing a full game run. Just get a baseline, okay? Don't go in with the expectation that you're gonna kick ass. Just get a baseline time, whether it's 2 hours or 6 hours. And that's going to be a time that you can improve, okay? And that kind of process of spending time practicing different bosses, different splits that you struggled on in that run, and then going back and improving your time is really the addictive part of speedrunning. That's the part that we all enjoy, is practicing, improving, and seeing that reflected in subsequent runs. But with all that said, I hope this walkthrough helped you all out a lot. Definitely check in the description in case there's any kind of updates that I need to mention. If you're watching this a year after the video released, it might be a little bit outdated, but I will indicate that in the description if that's the case. But yeah, I really hope you all enjoy speedrunning any percent. I really love this category. I'm actually surprised I enjoy it so much. I'm going to be speedrunning it for a while. Obviously, feel free to catch me streaming runs. But with that, hope you all have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for watching, and good luck with runs. Take care.